Hi, my name is Piyush and my first book was a book called MUMBAISTAN, a crime thriller based in Mumbai. It's basically a compilation of three crime novellas which I wrote. The first one is called Bomb Day, second one is called Injection Wala, and the third one is called Coma Man. So I put together these three crime fiction novellas in one volume called MUMBAISTAN. So MUMBAISTAN is the crime-scape, the gritty, grungy side of Mumbai that I term MUMBAISTAN. And the book was successful, and what happened is that from MUMBAISTAN, in the second novella, I had the one called Injection Wala, I had a character called Inspector Virkar, and that character was liked a lot, and he sort of moved ahead into my next book, Compass Box Killer, the first Inspector Virkar crime thriller. It's a standalone crime thriller with Inspector Virkar going after a serial killer in the scape of MUMBAISTAN. So therefore, this it's called, it's under the MUMBAISTAN series. The reader is definitely going to be surprised because one of the most important things about a crime thriller is that it has to have suspense and it has to sort of intrigue you. So in my case, I kind of write stories which are page turners. So there's a surprise at the end of every page that sort of draws you into turning the page and puts you into another surprise by the time you reach the end of the next page. So that's my style of writing. And at the end, it gives you a punch to the guts, and that's my idea of crime fiction. So if you read it, you will come to know. Well, no. So it's not about just a bomb or somebody puts into coma. This Bomb Day is about a situation that can be imagined. It's an imaginary situation. There was something called the 26/11 shootings in Mumbai. And at that point in time, there were rumors that there were more people who came with those attackers, and they had disappeared into Mumbai and they were hiding. And I just thought, what if those rumors were true? And there were a few people who are hiding in Mumbai to come together one day and do something really bad again in Mumbai. So to me, that was the starting point, and that is the Bomb Day, where these 5 people who have been hiding are going to do something really bad in Mumbai. And there's a prostitute, a gangster who wants to go straight, and a cop. Through a certain set of circumstances, they come together to save the day or save Mumbai. So and it happens during the course of one day. So the whole novella starts early in the morning and it gets over early in the morning the next day. And Injection Wala is about, the base is about the organ racket, kidneys, for example. So there is this doctor who becomes a vigilante called Injection Wala, and he goes after people indulging in the organ racket. And you have a cop who's chasing this doctor. And I don't want to say anything more because it'll give away the story, but that's basically the story. And Coma Man, again, it was based on something which I always thought, the fabric of Mumbai really changed. I'm a Mumbaikar. The fabric of Mumbai changed after the riots in 92, 93 and the bomb blasts in 93. Mumbai became a slightly different place, and something which was it wasn't really ever. It used to be a very open place, even though now it's open, but something changed in the city. And I wanted to capture that. So the story is about this guy who disappeared during the riots in 92, and he comes back. He's away and he's in a coma, and he comes back after 20 years almost. He gets out of a coma and he gets out into the city. And he sees that the city has changed, and there's a whole story about what happened and why he disappeared and what he is after. He's trying to get to his wife, and what happens to him during that one day. He discovers something totally different, and the whole backstory of how he disappeared, and the repercussions of all that is what Coma Man is all about. Compass Box Killer is an Inspector Virkar crime thriller. So there's a serial killer who starts killing people across the city, and every time he leaves behind a student's geometry box, or colloquially called a compass box, and there's a note within that written in blood as a clue, and the Inspector Virkar starts following that, and he encounters he encounters a conspiracy that happened in the past. So then he has to go back into the past and delve into the past and take out many skeletons from the closet and bring justice. And that's what the idea is. So Inspector Virkar is a character who believes in justice, and he believes that justice must be served, but he does not necessarily go entirely by the law. So sometimes he bends the laws, but at the end, justice has to be delivered, Virkar style. Well, it's noir crime fiction, So if you take any of the noir books, you take the Maltese Falcon, So your essential character, the detective, believes in delivering justice, and he will do anything to do it, and even bend the rules and sometimes break the rules for the greater common good. So that is an essential flawed character, the central protagonist of a noir fiction novel or movie. So I'm writing within the genre, so I have to, I adhere to the genre. Then you have the femme fatale and, the hidden antagonist who's hiding behind layers he wears a public face, and you discover his nefarious activities only when the protagonist delves deeper and deeper within the dark areas. So that's what noir fiction is all about. So I'm writing within that. So I feel that somehow people feel that is Bollywood-esque, but I'm actually writing noir fiction. So if people read a lot of noir fiction, they would say, oh, he's writing noir fiction. So I can't help it, really. Well, yeah, it does. Mumbai is an essential character in my book. Some people have given reviews and they've called me the new Raju guide of Mumbai. So I take, so my style, is about how, it's about, I'm writing for a person who's new to the city. So a visitor to the city, I'm welcoming him in, and I take him to spots that he would never actually visit if he were to just visit the city. So, and it's something which comes to me naturally. I have friends who come to the city, and I take them to these strange places and these small nooks and corners which sort of give you the character of the city. And I just love doing that, and I just took that forward into my writing. And in my writing, you'll find these strange little places which, have sort of been forgotten and, are in the process of being obliterated because of the city's, the advancing modernization in the city. And I love those places, and I introduce that into my novels and bring a lot of action out there, and in cemeteries where Britishers have sort of been laid to rest, and there's a lot of history in the city. So I bring a lot of historical facts about the city during a chase or an action sequence or a sort of a stakeout, for example. So yeah, I weave in the city and its character and its changing nature into my stories. Yeah. Every book has to be character driven, otherwise the reader would not connect, right? So the character is something the person who sort of kind of excites you enough to take you into the plot in a crime fiction. So yeah, I work very hard on getting those characters. So like I mentioned, there's this guy who's not been there for 20 years, and it's an intriguing character. He's come out of a coma and he's looking for his wife on that particular day. So I built in a certain intrigue, and then he goes out into the city and stuff starts happening around him. That is, how I take that character forward. And by the end of the story, you want this character to win. you're rooting for this character, and that's what I aim for. Every character, by the end of it, you're rooting for them, and if that doesn't happen, I feel I've failed. So I make sure that I make my characters like that. I suppose you could say that, but some people say my writing is Bollywood-esque, but actually I'm writing within the framework of a crime noir thriller, and perhaps the characters have to be etched out very strongly because you have to kind of get involved with the characters fast, so that then you can move into the plot, and so you have to sort of move fast to kind of sort of expose certain good things and bad things about the character, or something which sort of hooks you into the plot. So that perhaps leads to the term larger than life characters, but I just feel that it's just a way of working through a fictional story and taking the plot forward. Yes, screenwriting is all about action and dialogue. So and it's all about economy. So in a sentence, you have to explain the action. The difference between screenwriting, a script, and a novel or a novella is that in a novel or novella, you can go into the mind of the character, and you can write about what he's thinking. But in a script, you can't go into the person's mind, because script is basically meant for the camera, and you can't take a camera into somebody's mind. You have to understand what the character is doing through his actions. So if you want to say he is angry, you have to show something which will make you, the viewer, aware that he's angry, the character is angry. So in that sense, you have to work harder when you're working in a script, because you can't do the cliched gestures of he's angry, so he throws something. That's like the most cliched thing. So you have to think of new ways every time of depicting something as simple as being angry. Whereas in a novel or a novella, you could say anger welled up inside him and be done with it. So you have to work harder in screenwriting. That's what I'm trying to say. And in novels and novellas, you have the well, in a novella, again, when you have a certain size, so you have to tell a story within that certain number of words. So you have to be concise again, and you have to take your plot from one place to the other and to the culmination faster. Whereas in a novel, you have the liberty of taking your time and dwelling and stopping to smell the roses, in fact. Although I don't do that, because I'm very, I write page turners, so if I sort of digress here and there, I know that I'm digressing and I edit it out. So I feel that screenwriting has helped me write these page turners, because they've kind of made me aware that I have to keep things moving faster and faster till I hit the culmination. This is the cover of Compass Box Killer, and I don't have MUMBAISTAN here, but it's graphic. It's more like the retro pulp fiction covers of in America during the 1950s and 40s and 50s. So they didn't have, they didn't show photographs of people, and they used basic colors and illustrations to kind of depict what they wanted. So I sort of followed that, because I want to flag the audience and say, hey, this is pulp fiction and you'll enjoy it. So that's why my covers are like this. Well, I like noir fiction and I like crime fiction. I read a lot of crime fiction. I've been reading from my childhood, thrillers and spy fiction and all kinds of crime fiction, from the Hardy Boys onwards. So it came to me naturally. It's something which I really loved, and I just wanted to write noir fiction or crime fiction, and I wanted to write about my city, Mumbai, and it lends itself to a lot of crime fiction. So my love for crime and my love for my city sort of got married together in my mind, and MUMBAISTAN was the child that they gave birth to. Well, the one thing that sticks out in a noir is the femme fatale. The lady who ostensibly seems to be something and turns out to be something else, and perhaps at the end of it all that she is something really dangerous. So the femme fatale is in its essence, the building block of noir fiction. So people have to understand that. So some people say, oh, he paints these characters, his women characters are negative. But I mean, I'm writing femme fatale, so femme fatales are negative characters. What can I do? Please read more noir fiction. You'll get to know more femme fatales. So then you'll know that I'm actually being very mild. But essentially, the femme fatale is the most interesting character because, see, the thing is, you have to hide the femme fatale. So you should not look like a femme fatale right from the beginning. And somewhere during the course of the book, things about her get revealed, and you realize that she's not what she's was. And to me, that is a challenge every time I have to create a credible character who takes you in one direction, and then I sort of sweep the carpet from under your feet and reveal a totally new dimension to that, and then it sort of hits the reader. My God. And that's really difficult to do every time. So that's essentially the one thing that noir fiction sort of forces you to do.